My name is Chris Forsberg. We're here at Forsberg Racing, my shop where we build pretty wild drift cars. Anything from our Formula drift cars to party cars that we take out to grid life. This is our latest and greatest creation. It's the Nissan Altimaniac, as we call it. This thing was basically hollowed out, the floor, the firewalls, the front and rear suspension bits, anything that really makes it a car outside of what holds the doors onto it. We did an entire scan of the chassis and we did a CAD designed tube chassis, which is the first time it's ever happened in the drift world. In Formula Drift, at the highest level of drifting competition, we are not allowed to do that. And so nobody's really ever spent the time or made the investment to see what a tube frame chassis drift car would be like. It's got a twin turbo VR38 engine, which we are going to be pushing up to 2,000 horsepower soon, which would make it the most powerful drift car on the planet as well. And then the fact that it was all built around a chassis to house 4 people, specifically for having fun with, I think makes it much more unique than any other drift car. Yeah, like running a business or running a shop and being a driver as well. It's a lot, of course, but thoroughly enjoy not only coming up with the ideas and building the cars, but obviously taking them to the track too is the biggest reason why we do all of that. So that's why we build these other chassis to go out and have fun with. But now these chassis are starting to be more intense than the FD cars. And so it's like now it's just a vicious cycle, but in the end they are an absolute blast to drive, and that's why we keep doing it. So I wanted to use Steal It for this project because we're always modifying the chassis a little bit, and we want something that's going to be not only durable, but also very easy to modify in case we're making changes between the seasons. And Steal It really fills that gap with not only having the quality of having like a really durable paint, but also the adjustability for us to clean and even weld direct to if we need to make an adjustment on the fly. I've never powder coated my chassis. I don't think that's the way to go. It's just too much commitment to the chassis, and we're always nitpicking and trying to make them better. And so why would you want to limit yourself to that? And Steal It just really gives you that availability to continue to modify the car as much as you want. For the Formula Drift chassis, we have to use a lot of the factory metal, like the floor pans, the firewalls, things like that. And there's so much work and effort into the chassis that we're not just going to throw it away because of a little crash damage. So not having a powder coated chassis, we can drill the spot welds off and pop that panel out, or cut the tube off, clean it up and weld a new one in, and then the Steal It will just like blend right in. You can't even tell the piece is replaced. With the Steal It, it not only gives the good look of a painted chassis, but it gives durability against rust and things like that. So you can just put it on really thick, and that's what really makes sure you get that good coverage so you don't have any of those blank spots where it might form some rust. With this car, we did a little bit of Scotch-Brite and some DA work on some of the panels, but the sandblast is really the absolute best way to do it. And even when it comes down to all like the little bits like the overflow tanks, bumper bars, things like that we used to take to the powder coater, now we just throw it in our little sandblast cabinet, prep it up, clean it up, and we can paint it and put it right onto the car. And we don't have to worry about rust or anything for the whole year.